Got a Court of Hardeman County now in session, Honorable Mayor Todd Boyce presiding. Please remove all hats, turn all cell phones, and papers off, please.
All right, meeting will come to order. If you would please remain standing. We're going to have Commissioner Kenmore. He's going to lead us in a prayer, please.
Let's bow our heads, please. Most gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you so much for this day, Lord. We thank you for watching over us today during the rough weather. Lord, we just ask you to anoint this meeting tonight, Lord. Just cover us with your will. Lord, we pray that everything we say, we do, we think, Lord, just honor and glorify you. Lord, we thank you for your grace, your mercy, and your never-ending love. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Please place the flag, please.
And we salute to the flag. I
pledge
pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, you may be seated, please. All right. All right, Madam Clerk, if you would move into roll call, if you would, please. Let's make sure these are on. Yes, 1, 2, 1, 2. You may have to pull them down. Y'all would have to pull these down and talk into the mic. Yeah, make sure they're okay. Madam Clerk, if you would, please, ma'am.
Bell.
Here.
Buffer.
Here.
Rebeard.
Here.
Gatlin.
Here.
Yellow.
Here.
Grantham.
Here.
Hensley.
Here.
Jenkins.
Here.
Kenmore.
Here.
Lake.
Here.
Lanier.
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Sane.
Here.
Vickers.
Here.
Weems.
Here.
Wright.
Here. Has been on there. This time we move into public forum. All right, everybody have a chance to look at the minutes from last meeting.
Yes, I have a correction
Okay.
on the beer board.
Okay.
Talked to Conrad about it. It's, at the bottom line, it says 100 feet from school. That's supposed to be in residential. You got that? Right here where it says. Lost it now. Third page. Okay, it says 200 feet, 500 feet of church and schools. Also, I want to take this is from residential to 100, not schools.
Schools and churches still 300, and residential 100 is what the plan before we discussed.
Was that right? The residential 100 feet? And move the other, that is correct, then from 2,000 feet to 500 feet for the churches and schools. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd have to, we'll need to make a correction on that so we can approve those as amended, and as you say, and then we'll discuss that here in a little bit. Any other corrections on those, please?
Make a motion for approval as amended.
Second.
All right. Motion been made and seconded. Any discussion? All right. Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All opposed by like sign. All right, motion carries. And we have notaries before us as well. Let's see. I don't have the current list of notaries.
So moved, read.
Second. Motion been made and seconded. Any discussion on the notaries? All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? All right. move into reports if we could from our county officials. Do you have anyone? Is Casey here? Or Lee? Okay, you're gonna fill in for Casey tonight. All right, Lee, come on up, please, sir. Make sure your mic's on, Lee. If you would, please. Yeah.
First thing I have is the quarterly report and work proposal. Is there any questions on it? Either one of them?
Any questions on the quarterly report you have? Questions? You need a motion first to approve.
Yes, sir.
the quarterly report.
Second.
All right, motion been made, second to approve the quarterly report. Any discussion? I don't think we need a roll call on that, Madam Clerk. All right, all those in favor to approve the quarterly report, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, please signify by the same. All right.
The next item that the highway department has is a recommendation from the highway board of supervisors to change the name of Farmer Lane to Massey Lane. There's only one resident lives on that lane, and his last name is Massey, and it's at his request. So the supervisor, Hardin County Board of Supervisors, the highway department has a positive recommendation to change it from Farmer Lane to Massey Lane.
Just curious, do you know how long has that been Armor Lane? Dedicated years ago.
I have no idea.
How many residents live on that lane?
One,
Just him?
just him.
No one's had any opposition to it.
He's the only one there.
How does it affect, or how much is it gonna affect the 911 getting all this far away?
Yeah, the one resident you said is still there, of course, he'll have to change his address, of course, with 911.
911, all that.
Yes, sir.
In the past, I've heard people requesting that, and they turned it down because the 911 said it was too much to do. I'm just curious about that.
I don't know, Sheriff, if you know anything on that, would be.
I figure if he's the only one on that lane, he's the only one that's gonna
Well,
have.
I understand that, but I'm just talking about the procedure that I've heard in the past.
It shouldn't be too much to.
Yeah, I don't think you would have to do then, at that point, change it for his address, with post office, mail, and so forth, but I can see what Mr. DeBerry is talking about, the process it is to change that.
I got a question. How often do we, change have we done that before recently? When's the last time we did that?
I don't know when the last time was the road name was changed, but typically the policy that the supervisors have set forth is that, if there's a road to be changed, there's multiple residents on it, that they have to get a petition signed by the majority of those on the road, and then bring it before the board of supervisors for the highway department. And then it goes through their, whatever their process is, they'll consider it. And then as Mr. DeBerry stated, that 911, there's more than one on there, there's a lot of stuff that goes through, because everybody has changed all their stuff, and it's not, normally it's not recommended. But being there's only one, it comes with positive from the road supervisor, because there's only one resident there.
Lee, is there other property down that lane though? I mean, like with maybe some arbors own some property down there, that's just no residents
I
there?
don't think there's, if I can't speak to this 100%, but I think Casey said that the last farmer had passed away. But I'm not 100% sure on that. Other than that, I'm assuming, other than that, I don't know. I'm not going to state the next part, but I don't know that to get back. I don't know if he owns all the property in that area.
I have a question for my fellow commissioners. Do you all remember the last time you all made a road change like this, a name change? When it was? Over 10 years, over?
This is my first administration, so.
I'm gonna prove I'm not that old right now, it's gonna be when Howell Loop got separated and they moved main Breezewood Lane, part of the Howell Loop, so that's your last road name change. And it was probably 2008 or 9.
Thank you.
Well, I'm not that old.
So the process from that point on would be, as Commissioner DeBerry brought up, would be 911, and then, of course, with the signage and with everything appropriate with maps, and map coordinates and all that.
Correct, if the commission approves it, then we'll change it on our books, and that'll be updated, and when we send the stuff in September, and then 911 will start their process. If the commission denies it, then everything stays as it is.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Williams, the city council had something similar to happen. Mr. Johnny Nelson, wanted to rename a street after, the land that they own, but it was on that street. What amicable solution did you all come up with?
So his was a little bit different. He wanted it changed because his family lived on the street for, I think, over 100 years. And we appreciate his family and them living there, but it was going to affect a lot of people on that street. Had it been one or two people, it's not really a hard process. Even the 911 process isn't hard if it's just one or two people. But what you get into is when you have 100+ people on a roadway, they have to change their credit cards, their license, everything about them, their address. So that was a challenge. So we did an honorary road name. And so it's a proclamation, it's a sign, but it didn't change the actual road name in itself.
So you all did a proclamation.
Yeah, so it's just a proclamation, honorary road name, and it's very common. It doesn't change anything as far as for the people who live on that street. But the biggest issue was there were so many people that lived on this street. But if it would have been one person, we probably would have changed it, honestly. I felt like we would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, is there any other discussion on that, please? If not, is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, motion been made, second, is there any discussion on the motion? All right, seeing none. Madam Clerk, do we need a roll call on that? I believe we do. Let's go ahead and have a roll call for that, please.
Bell,
Yes.
Buffer,
Yes.
DeBerry,
Yes.
Galvin,
Yes.
Gillum,
Yes.
Grantham,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Kilmore,
Yes.
Lake,
Yes.
Lanier,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Same.
Yes.
Vickers,
Yes.
Wings,
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.
Motion passes, thank you. Thank you, Lee. Something else for you, sir?
The next thing I have is our yearly fiscal bids for our material for the highway department. It comes with a positive recommendation from the supervisors of the road board to award the bids. As written, you should have a copy of the minutes from the supervisors. And basically what they did, as far as I know, is they awarded the bid to the lowest bidder. Unless it was a material that was a better product, like I think in rock, they awarded Vulcan 8s as well, because they have a better rock for chipping and sealing in Wayne County.
I move we accept these, the lowest bid here for the highway department.
Second.
All right, motion been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? It is to accept the lowest bid. All right, clerk, we need to vote on
Is
this.
it the lowest bid, Lee, or the bids as presented?
I would do the bids as presented if we can, which the way they did it was the lowest bid. The way it's written on the paper should be as presented by the supervisors.
To accept bids, that's what
As
that motion
presented.
correctly. Okay.
As recommended from the road supervisors, yes.
I amend my motion, to state that just, accept the bids as stated.
All right. I think that's second.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? That does not require a roll call. All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, Lee. Lee, let me ask you a question. When is the project gonna start through, out towards Hornsby that will come on out through town? The highway?
So you're talking about
Is that July?
64?
Yeah, is that July?
That project should be starting in June or July. That would be the state,
So many miles.
that'd be the state, to my knowledge. The next thing I have, Mayor, I don't know if you want me to do this now or wait, is our budget.
Okay, you've got it now, you've got the floor now, go ahead, let's see what you have.
The next item I have is our budget for highway department fiscal year 25-26. Is there any questions that I might be able to answer for you? As far as I know, I think it comes with a positive recommendation from the, budget committee as well.
Question, are y'all budgeting any raises?
Yes, sir, I think he is.
What page is it? I'm sorry, I can't find that.
Yes, sir, I think he is, I think he's 3%, I think.
Okay. I'm sure it's right here, I hadn't got to it yet. Thank you.
You got the retirement built in. Linda, what was the percentage on the, retirement?
The county's retirement went to 12.05% for next fiscal year, starting in July.
That increase, okay. All right, does anybody have any questions for Mr. Lee Merrigan on the county budget?
Did you say that the budget committee had approved?
As far as I know, yes.
Okay.
We need to know.
I do not know the name.
Okay.
For first reading.
Yeah, for the first reading they had. Yes, sir. All right. That'll be on the first reading report tonight, and we'll have that, if there's any changes, that will be corrected and amended and be back on this, back on the agenda. All right. Any other questions, please? All right, is there a motion to approve?
So,
All right, motion been made, is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and properly seconded, any question on the motion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, we need a roll call on that.
Are we gonna take this one separate, or we gonna put that with the commissioners?
Budget chair, let's see, I think we need to, include it in the first reading.
yeah, we can do it all together.
Yeah, we'll just do, tell you what, let's just do it all at one time, one package.
Just take any questions on the case budget.
Good. got anything in?
I think that's all I have, Mayor.
I got something for Lee.
Any questions?
There's a lot of debris still on the side of the roads. Is this county, or is county responsible for picking this up, or is it the landowners, or what? Maxwell Road got a lot of it.
We're still picking up debris. We just got a lot of debris down everywhere, along with trying to get our roads and stuff back, fixed back from the last big flood we had as well, so we're still picking up debris, so.
I just noticed it's still a big pile over there.
Yeah, there's still more around the town. If it's on the county right away, we're gonna get it. If it's not on the county right away, then it will have.
Okay, thank you, Lee. All right. Dr. Smith?
Good evening. We are finally finishing up the 24-25 school year. Tomorrow is our last half day for students, and staff leaves this week. They get about a week off, and a bunch of them are going back to summer school in 2 weeks. So, things break up fast, but we finished graduation ceremony, awards day, ceremonies, field trips, all the fun things of your festivities. I have 2 items tonight that will need to be brought separately. The first sheet that you have is a budget amendment for a public school security grant that we just received for this fiscal year. It's $21,363 for safety equipment. We're going to be using this to purchase key card access system for Baldwin Elementary. As you know, that's our largest staff campus, it's also 2 buildings, there's a lot of in and out, and there's a lot of keys and access codes out there. So this is a key card system for locking and unlocking. It also allows us to track individuals, times, who it is, and it allows us to stop access immediately if needed. This is a reimbursement grant, so it's money coming into GP that we will, be used completely through a grant.
I'm sorry, did you say Central or?
Baldwin Elementary.
Elementary.
Central High School and Middleton High School already have it,
Okay.
and it has been a tremendous help because of multiple buildings. You know, we're required to keep exterior doors locked at all times, so
Yes.
that has been really well worth everything that was put into those.
I think that's a good system, Dr. Smith.
Does the card work on all doors?
It'll be on the access doors that they put it on. It won't be classroom exterior doors, but it'll be the main entrance doors, so.
All the teachers will
8 or
have.
10-ish. Yes, each teacher has their own access card.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All right, motion been made, properly second. We approve. Is there any discussion on the motion, please? All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, please roll call here. That's already been approved on your board, your board. Okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Very good. Thank you, Dr.
The second item tonight is the presentation of the school budget for fiscal year 25-26. As you know, teacher salaries are required to meet minimum levels for the 26-27 school year, at which time we must be at $50,000 per state law. We wanted to try to get there this year, a year early, in an attempt to compete with neighboring districts, but we were not able to do that. The beginning teacher salary for this upcoming year is proposed to be at $48,000. As you're aware, once we reset our teachers' salary scale for the beginning teacher, it has to reset the rest of the scale to some degree. The increase of this year's cost for doing that, to move it to $48,000, is approximately $250,000 just for the teacher salary scale. That means that from the get-go, we had to cut $250,000 from our budget to even think about having a balanced budget. We did that. The positions were absolved and projects were cut out to make this happen. Let's go back to 2024, when the school portion of the tax rate was $1.02. Last year, after a lot of discussions, an agreement was reached to offset the total dollar amount from the debt service that the schools had paid off through that 98 edition debt service, which allowed the county commission to swap 10 cents from property tax to sales tax. This ultimately put $500,000 in the county's coffers. This year, the first set of numbers we received was to again lower the school system's portion of property tax by 6 cents. After multiple discussions with the board and the mayor, a decision has been reached to compromise at close to 3 cents. This will also decrease the school's portion of the property tax down to 88.59 cents. That's the last numbers we received. You will see this reflected on the proposed revenue sheet. The school system has been financially sound for decades, and we're fighting to maintain and sustain the ability to provide quality programs and services to our current students as well as our future students. The county isn't the only one that faces increases in property, casualty, and health insurance. We are facing hefty increases higher than normal this year. Keep in mind, that school employees do not get 100% healthcare premium coverage. Buses, they're required. They have out-of-service dates. The cost has gone from $90,000 to $135,000 a piece since COVID. Not all of our full-time school employee groups make more than $15 an hour. We're having to supplement more and more programs such as pre-K, school safety, social emotional support, alternative learning due to stagnant state funding. TISA is our new funding model. It is still not what we consider stable. It moves a lot from January to June. That along with school vouchers, it leaves a lot of unknowns. It also leaves a lot of multiple unfunded state and federal mandates. To supplement our programs, we are constantly searching for additional opportunities and grants at no to low cost to the system in order to provide the best services we can to students. An example of this is the middle college program. That is a no cost to us or students program. We just watched 21 seniors from Middleton and Bolivar Central High School graduate from Jackson State Community College with an associate's degree. We also recently applied for a large grant to help our students with post-secondary and workforce development. Even with these challenges, we are making academic strides. This year, we had 6 out of 9 schools that were level 3, 4, or 5 in growth. The state considers this to be rock solid and above. Our early literacy success rate is higher than ever, and we're offering programs in high schools such as advanced manufacturing, welding, nursing, auto mechanics, and digital agronomy. These also come with industry certification opportunities. We have over 350 students or certifications that were earned just by our seniors this year. We're proud of what our schools are accomplishing. We're going to continue to push forward no matter what obstacles we face. This is the general purpose budget for Hardeman County Schools. This budget, as you can see, has a $95,529 deficit. However, the difference in the collected rate and the actual collection should cover that. This budget has full approval from the board and does not include cafeteria or capital outlay budgets, which will be brought in June. Are there any questions on our general purpose budget?
And you all you did approve it today.
Yeah, you got approved last month.
Dr. Smith, did the state put any of your funding for the, at one time there was some allocated, I believe, for depressed county, if you call it economically?
Our economically disadvantaged is cut by 25%.
25.
They tried to cut it out completely, and this is statewide, I don't know how it happened, but they funded it at 25%.
Because we are still, that's very interesting, we're still classified as an economically depressed county. There's a certain margin by capita that they rate our county, and there's only a few still left in the state. We are one of, we're one of those.
And that's how we're going to apply for the grant that we interviewed for yesterday.
And your match part is 0?
Unless it's 0, we don't have it, but.
Yeah, good. All right, is there any questions for Dr. Smith on that? Anybody have any questions on that? And that's as the budget is presented.
Correct.
Move to be approved.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Budget presented be approved. Any questions on the motion?
That is first reading.
let's start with a roll call on that, please, if you would.
School.
Yeah. School budget is presented.
Wright,
Yes.
Wayne,
Yes.
Vickers,
Yes.
Same,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Lanier,
Yes.
Lake,
Yes.
Killamore,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Grantham,
Yes.
Gillum,
Yes.
Galvin,
Yes.
DeBerry,
Yes.
Buford,
Yes.
Bell.
Yes.
Dr. Ed, let me say, I appreciate you.
Thank you, we appreciate all of the commissioners.
We had many discussions and things about, of course, and we want to see each other's opinions, y'all. We work very well together. We knew that there was a lack of funding all the way around, for the county. The county lost different revenue, anticipated revenue from the state, from real estate, transfer taxes, all the way up to the Greenbelt law and the adjustment for that, the schedule. So it was a challenge, but I appreciate you, I really do. Thank you, and we all need to work together. We're one county, so thank you, Doctor.
We want our schools to be something that everybody's proud of and can draw people into our county, because that's the ultimate objective.
And welcome to the school board members out here. We see several we've got. Glad you're here tonight. All right, and before we go into Mr. Fergal, if you would please, and this is EMS week, and I want to say a special thank you to all of our EMS men and women that appreciate your hard work. All right, Mr. Fergal, if you would, please, sir, you're next on the agenda.
Good evening, commissioners. The rezoning you have on your schedule will be moved next month. We'll talk about it a little more later. If you have any questions, in the meantime, feel free to call me. All right. But I do have a couple other things that I need to talk to you about. First, you may remember in March, I hope all of you got a copy of the timeline for the Tiller property. Remember in March, we had the turns, I thought I'd ask you guys for help with that. The very next day, he's gonna start my letter out to the Tiller. Without being disparaging to the post office, it took a little while to get that back for me to be able to do anything with it. Once it came back to me, thanks to Sheriff Dillon and his deputies, we got out there, I was able to deliver that, I had signed for them. They had it in their possession, on April 14th. They had 10 days to respond, they have not responded as of yet. So I'm requesting approval to move forward with obtaining a court order to have them clean up the property.
Second.
All right. Motion been made and second. In discussion. All right, seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, good, thank you.
Thank you. Second thing I sent to you guys, hopefully you all got them, about the issue we're having with campers. As you may or may not know, hopefully nobody knows, at this point, zoning resolutions in Hardeman County do not allow people to live full-time in campers. That is unless they have a building permit, in which case they have 6 months that they're allowed to live in a camper until the house is completed. That's why they request an extension for some reason the house doesn't get completed. So I'm not here to bypass planning commission or BZA by any means. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm not asking you to move on this. I'm just really seeking guidance before I bring it to planning commission and BZA, to see what direction maybe you guys feel would be best to move in regards to this. mentioned in the memo a couple of different things. I'm sure there are other options available, those are just ones that we should research. I've kind of been able to determine might be ones to look at. As I'm sure you're aware, to enforce the zoning regulations, could be considerably costly. So I'm not sure that that's really an option, but I want to at least make you aware that that is an option. So I welcome any input you may have on that matter. If it's better that we talk outside, that's good too. I don't have an issue with that. But I would like to kind of get some thoughts on that.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have the, do you know what other counties, surrounding counties do in regards to campus policies?
McNairy County doesn't have zoning, so that's not an issue there. Chester County, as of now, I don't believe they offer that as an option for people. Haywood County does, if you call me on that. Fayette County does not at this point. So if anybody around us has one, it would be Haywood County. And, you know, obviously Blue Oak City is gonna be a big thing for them, so I'm sure that they were trying to get ahead of the game a little bit in regards to whether they allow that or not. But I can find out that information for sure. I'm glad to send it to you guys.
What they do, so we can kind of see what other counties around us are doing.
Sure. Be glad to do that.
Any other questions on that?
What's the property tax situation on it? Zero or what?
Now, as of this year, the property assessor is being, the laws have changed where property assessor, if they know that someone is living full-time in a camper, they're being charged property taxes on that.
Yeah, they can be charged, with that. What I'm very interested in, if you catch somebody living illegally in them, I mean, and if you go up and request them to move, they don't move, then what's the next step? We'll have to do a court action and get them, removed.
How many days a year do you call permanent?
That's a good question. I mean, I don't know if that's defined anywhere at this point in time.
What was it? I wish.
How many days a year is called permanent?
But it is 6 months if they're building a house, that's the limit on that. Right. Also, I wondered if you could check, I know some people who live in campers in Hardeman County, what are the requirements for the ones who do live in campers? You know, what kind of septic situation is required, and what other requirements should they have?
Sure.
They gotta have some rules as far as that goes.
Well, I do know from discussion with Doug Snyder with TDEC that they are issuing permits for septic permits for septic systems for campers. So whether that's actually in effect, I'm not sure, but you know, I'll find out that information and report to you guys.
What do you do if somebody's, you know, this new phase of tiny houses? You know, a lot of those aren't permanent.
Right, and right now, if it doesn't.
How are you gonna justify a camper to a tiny house when they're about the same square foot?
Right now, if it's got a permanent foundation, even if it's a tiny home, it's allowed. If it's not, if it's on wheels, then it's not allowed. So I guess the question then would become, if we do this for campers, will we then also allow, you know, tiny homes to be an option for individuals as well?
I'd like to hear some feedback from Josh's office as well. I would think we could be more lenient if they are paying some additional property tax with that being used as a dwelling. I think it's become more prominent with the economy and the high cost of building products. Some people are trying to do the work themselves, or they're trying to save till they can build a house. Yes, there could be other regulations, but if they're paying a form of property tax on that RV, we could be somewhat more lenient, if they're keeping that permit up to date as well.
Yeah, I'll say that setbacks and the septic tank and well, should be more inviting for people to come here and to put more effort into finding opportunities of job growth than worried about campers, my personal opinion. Because, like a tornado, are we gonna give some kind of variance on these people? It's gotta live in a camper 6 to 12, 16 months till they get their house built?
Well, when the mayor, announced a state of emergency, that kind of waived a lot of those issues for those individuals.
Yeah, the emergency declaration will waive those requirements. And, so far I've signed 4, and we may have to do another. That goes up to FEMA, and of course then goes up to FEMA as well. But that does circumvent a lot of the process that you're talking about.
I got a question. So if you have a camper, if you jack it up, pull the tires off, and set it on blocks, you're good?
Currently, no.
I thought that's what you said, as long as it wasn't on wheels, it's considered permanent.
Well, permanent foundation, I mean, they've gotta have some form of foundation under them at this point. Mobile homes are the same way.
Yeah, I mean, mobile homes, they're on blocks, I mean, piers.
Yep.
So I mean,
That's a good question. I mean, that's something that's been brought to me to be addressed, so I'm not sure how to respond to that without talking to planning commission about what their thoughts are.
And two, there's a difference too on those, David. I know what you're saying, but there's a difference too when you block in one for a foundation than how it's actually appraised is more of a regular home. And that's in the financing. You'll see that. Moose could probably attest to any of that, but financing would be different than for a mobile home than this.
if our concern is getting tax dollars,
Yeah, so
you know, I mean,
I don't care what they do.
yeah, it's like, man,
But there's a difference, if they put a pavilion over it, a mobile home under it, or a camper, that's different, or is it not?
I'm sorry, you're,
If you put a pavilion and put the camper underneath it, is that different?
that would just be considered a cover.
Yeah, because there's a lot, nice ones
Right.
that's like that.
And I mean, I'm on record to say that I was an issue with people living in campers. But as a zoning compliance officer, I have to enforce our zoning resolutions. And right now, zoning resolutions don't allow that. So I'm getting a lot of phone calls from a lot of people in the county who are upset about people living next to them in campers. So I'm trying to get ahead of things and figure out the best way to address that issue.
Okay, so that's what I was wondering, so you are getting complaints
Yes.
of that in the county? Okay.
Yes. And that's why I was able to determine that it's not just one area in particular. I mean, it's widespread throughout the county. And in some cases, property in Whiteville being one of them, there's somebody that's actually created a gravel area and put in wells and septic systems for people to move campers in, which they have, and that are attached to that are renting that space from that individual.
Shouldn't it be commercial?
Well, that area is actually zoned RH as it stands, residential mobile home, so I'm not sure how that would fit, especially in regards to Commissioner Bell's question. But right now, campers are going anywhere.
Mr. Pearl, is that location in Union Spring?
No, is there another one?
No, I mean, I'm just saying. Fed corn.
Right off the one second. Oh, that point.
Are they working at Blue Oak?
I don't know that. I haven't actually knocked on the door and asked him that. But given that that's that close to the Haywood County line, I'm thinking we may see more of that coming, especially to the Whiteville area, or that part of the county anyway.
See, my only thought is, with cleaning up junkyards or campers, I don't like government telling people what they can do with them. I feel like if a neighbor has a problem with a neighbor, they should take care of it by court. Not putting pressure on us, make us pay for it. Let them pay for it, let them do like the old days, let them handle it. Now, they put it all on us, burden on us. You're right, maybe we need this, the zoning board needs to go back and read the zoning to catch up with today's times. That's the only problem.
Yeah, update zoning requirements. And I understand that point too, what you're talking about, Commissioner, but then the zoning law was enacted, what, in 92 to 93, they first started work on it, I think, in 92. So when it was enacted and we adopted those resolutions, they do need to be updated. I agree with that. But that took the neighbor part out of it. Some, and I thought the same thing, but some came to me and said, well, we're scared if we say too much, it make them over here and, you know, do some harm and different things, but.
I do have one other question though, please.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Like your junkyard, does it have to be a neighbor to complain or anybody driving down the road?
Well, I mean, I take all complaints, seriously and look into them, regardless of. Obviously, it holds more weight with me if it's coming directly from a neighbor than from somebody that may, you know, live 5 miles down the road who doesn't drive every day, who's not affected by it on a general basis.
Because I was asked that question, does it have to be the neighbor?
No.
But in the instance we were talking about before, as long as anything is on that person's property, regardless of how much it is, if they had a fence up along the property line, you have whatever they want to behind there, correct?
Well, I mean,
Can't see it
I
anyway.
wouldn't know if anybody would know what to complain about.
Right.
It's,
That's always a solution.
And if it's on your personal property, if somebody's left there, you can't have it coming. If it's on your property, yeah. Well, that instance we're talking about, I have actually talked to the neighbors that did call the other day. They live here part-time and they're out of town part-time, you know what I'm talking about, Pastor Bowman. And, it's a rough situation on that issue. There was an easement granted, now we're trying to research, and they are as well, who actually granted that easement. The easement follows the property within the deed, so it was never taken out, so it's still there. So they have easement, but you can't block that easement up. And, the problem is, yes, ma'am. If someone were to need an ambulance, Jamie says too, you couldn't get up through there. So, that's another issue.
I just hate that we're gonna open this can of worms.
Yeah.
Where I could probably count 10 on my budget route that I don't like, but, you know, county should have to clean it up. And, you know, that's just my thing. I'm afraid we're opening that can of worms where everybody talks. I'm at my neighbor, I want you to clean his yard. You know, that's just stuff like that, campers too.
well, one thing I will say is one of the things that and those of you that have been here for a while will remember when the original cleanup debris resolution was passed, it has to be a health hazard to the county. So it's got, you know, rats have to be involved. There are other things, it's not just a matter of them coming to me and saying, I have somebody that's done that now. They're very upset about the condition of their yard, but every time I go by, messy looking, absolutely. Would I be happy to live next to them? Probably not. But there's no indication of anything that would be a health hazard to citizens of the county. And so therefore, there's nothing we can do about that. That's a matter of a neighbor going to a neighbor and saying, could you please clean up? Or, like you said, taking civil action to get something done. Which they don't want to do because it costs money.
Right, and that's what she said the other day, she wants us to do it.
Right, well, that is a little different, because that is against resolutions, that particular situation.
Right.
And unfortunately, whether either one is, it can be lengthy and costly.
Right.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, sir.
Well, if you have any other thoughts, feel free to reach out to me, I'd like to. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Burke. Next we have, Commissioner Williams, library.
Well, the Friends of the Library, which is a charity, privately run, but they raise money to help out at the library. Deborah Carrier is the chair of that committee. And the main member, she works hard. Anyway, she's raised, $9,700 to put new lighting in the, library. And, she came to the last library board meeting asking for, the county and the city to contribute some funds to help install those lights. And, we're not gonna ask for the money yet before we see if, we can't, let the county and city employees, get them installed first. So, anyway, the library is, still a vital part of our community, and, they serve a lot of people, a lot of citizens, into the thousands every month, so, please consider, supporting them every chance you get. That's all I have.
Commissioner, did you wanna say anything about that? We'll have to address that at some point. Is the memorandum of understanding, was that voted on as a positive recommendation from the library board about the powers and duties? And the city is asking actually that the county take over that, the library.
Right, it was not voted on by the board.
I'd like to see a study what if they could do one to say what it would be on the cost issue, you know. Right now, we've got it at 52%, 48. What happens? By code, of course, we fund the libraries in the county at different ones. We also help with Middleton Library, Grand Junction, WIFA, anybody that has, and that's a maintenance of effort issue as well. But we also do that on Barbara. For years, it has been set up in a split like that. And I, for one, if that happened, I don't know, Mayor McTiggart's here, do you remember when that happened? Or if that's been before?
It started that way. That's how that was the agreement when they opened.
Years, probably what, 20, 30 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking one day, we don't know how that was set up anyway. And we don't know how. So we've got to figure that out. That's, because right now they're city employees. And I thought it was working fine for all these years. So, but that'll have to be addressed as the library board, I guess we need to review that pretty good, I would think. And like I said, cost comparison on it.
Yeah, right now the county, finances 52%, city 48%, but as of, I don't know, I think it was sometime in the 90s is when they actually turned the management over and the payroll over to the city. You know, and now the city is kind of wanting to turn it back over to the county, but we have not made any recommendations. It's one of the most complicated issues, that I've ever seen, the way it's set up. You know, the city wants to give their employees a raise, well, the county don't give them theirs, and the city don't give them theirs, and they kind of fall through the cracks, but,
One issue maybe as well is this new insurance, because the city went to a different pay plan, I believe on theirs. What is yours, Mayor, 85-15 for the city, is that correct? And we're gonna have to look at every option that we have as well, between this, go around and final reading on it, because of the insurance cost. So that's also a factor. Anyway, we'll have to get that done pretty soon, get a study on that very quickly. All right, I'll turn it over. Commissioner Miller, this is mental health month. I appreciate you sending that to our office and people to be aware and mental health needs in this county. And would you like to say anything on that?
No, I thought you had something.
Let me just read this very briefly, if you would, please. And please be aware of this. Each year, millions of Americans face mental illness. In fact, more than 51 million people experience mental illness in the last few years, starting in 2019. 1 in 5 adults and 1 in 6 youth experience mental illness each year. It's estimated 45% of adults and 51% of children with mental illness receive treatment. Anxiety disorders are the most common mental illness in the United States, affecting more than 19% of the adult population. So please be aware of this and support Mental Health Month. So we want to make you aware of that. Thank you, Commissioner, for bringing that to my attention. Commissioner Lanier, our budget chair, I'll turn it over to you, please, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. We've had 2 budget meetings since the last commission meeting. We'll do the budget amendments first, but before I get to those, with everybody that's present tonight, we've got some school board members here, Dr. Smith, Ms. Lisa's here, several of you work for the school system, the press is here, so anything you can help with this, because we've negotiated with schools the last 2 years and changing how they're funded, et cetera, but Commissioner Grantham brought something to my attention after our last budget meeting before we had tonight. And for some reason, there's a law with the state that, as you know, county money, we draw interest off of money. If we've got CDs, we draw interest off of it. What's in the fund balance, we draw interest off of it. Well, the law is with the state, with the schools, they can only draw interest off their cafeteria fund. And I don't know how old this law is. Thank you so much, Commissioner Grantham, for bringing that to my attention. I immediately called Ms. Lisa, made Mayor Pohl somewhere of that. That's just insane. We're talking about several hundreds of thousands of dollars with the substantial fund balance our schools have. Even if we have to oversee it, they could be drawn to buy buses, do capital improvement projects that Dr. Smith speaks of. And Ms. Linda's already got calls in to Vicki and Kelsey with CTAS. If they don't have answers, we need to go as high as we need to go. Representative Shaw, Paige Wally, whomever. But in my opinion, that law needs to be changed, and it could be handcuffing public schools across the state as far as I'm concerned. I mean, our school system has a substantial fund balance right now, and the bank's just holding it for free, which is no fault of them, it's a fault of lawmakers at national. Anything you can help to rectify that, and let's get that changed, and it will only help our school system and probably every public school system in the state of Tennessee. I didn't ask Commissioner Grantham, I don't know how other states do it, but he brought that to my attention, so any help you can get on that, I agree. We'd love to see our schools draw that interest and get it, even if they keep it law where we have to oversee it. I Googled it that night after he told me that, and I called it gibberish. It says they don't need to hoard money, or they're not in the investment business. They need to focus on educating children. And that's so, but it's absurd. They can't draw interest off their money. I mean, that would help even counties that are growing to build new schools, buy buses, like I said, et cetera. So any help you can give on that, and I will give feedback once Ms. Linda hears back from Vicki and Kelsey at CTAS, but I want to make everybody aware of that. As long as I've sat in this chair, I've never heard it. I was actually blown away when Commissioner Grant told me that. So just want to make everybody aware of that.
Yeah. Thank you. We want to help. We want to help do that. And I think if there's a way to do that without it looking as if it's a commingling issue, or it could be set in a separate escrow, I think in a different account, was it 171, or even set up a separate line and make it where they could draw that. If there's a way to do it, we're definitely in favor of it. Try to help, you know. If it would help, I think it would help the schools.
All right, on the budget amendments that you received in your packet, numbers 11 through 16 were reviewed and approved by the budget committee with no need to come to the full commission. It's line item transfers. So we will start with number 1. I believe these are simple enough. We can take them all together and just stop any questions if you have any, commissioners. Number 1, other boards,
boards and committees, deputy fund balance $1,000, crediting board committee fees $1,000. The majority of these are budget cleanup. 2, county clerk's office, deputy reserve account $4,200, crediting office equipment $4,200. That's a reserve account, not fund balance. Buying equipment and just telling you that's all, that's what it's there for. Number 3, the sheriff's office, deputy fund balance $100, crediting salary supplements $100. Number 4, other public safety, deputy fund balance $20,930, crediting deputies $19,443, social security $1,205, and Medicare $282 for a debit credit balance of $20,930. That's the final plaintiff payout of the lawsuit. Number 5, employee benefits, deputy fund balance $3,650, crediting employee insurance $3,650, and that's an employer portion of deductible on the insurance plan. Number 6, miscellaneous, deputy fund balance $12,000, crediting trustees commissions $12,000. Number 7, the sheriff's office, deputy postage $800, crediting training $800. Number 8, sheriff's office, deputy guard, pay line $30,000, crediting guard overtime $5,000, building maintenance $5,000, and deputy overtime $20,000. That's line item transfers in between the 2 sheriff's department accounts or the workhouse to clean up line items. Number 9, sheriff's office, deputy guard, pay line $15,000, crediting vehicle maintenance $15,000. Number 10, the sheriff's office, deputy pay line $49,594.68, crediting vehicle $49,594.68, and this is for a purchase of a Tahoe. Sheriff called me on this one. We were going to take it drug fund or the deputy line item because he's having troubles even if he's getting cars. It's taking him a long time to get them. He called me kind of emergent on this one because it was readily available, and we did take one out of the upcoming budget since he got this one. Did line item transfer because he had room in his current budget. 17, landfill, deputy laborers, $18,560, crediting clerical personnel, $18,560. The Madam Clerk, that is 1 through 10, and number 17. Any questions on those budget amendments? And then we come with a positive recommendation from the budget committee, and I so move that we approve this agreement. Motion been made and seconded. Any questions on the motion or the amendments this time? Saying none, Madam Clerk, will move into a roll call vote, please.
Hale.
Yes.
Buffer.
Yes.
Secretary.
Yes.
Galvin.
Yes.
Gillum.
Yes.
Grantham.
Yes.
Hensley.
Yes.
Jenkins.
Yes.
Kenmore.
Yes.
Lake.
Yes.
Lanier.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Sane.
Yes.
Vickers.
Yes.
Wings.
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay, now as far as first reading, we've approved the school. Without anybody sees fit, we can take the land, you've received the highway department, the landfill, and the county general budgets for consideration of first reading. There are a couple of changes that I want to make you aware of. They'll be in your new packet. Although we're not setting tax rate or any of that, the appropriations
have changed some in regards to the budget you did receive. As of right now, per that budget, the general rate for the county would be 0.8734. The schools rate would be 0.8859, as reflected in their budget. And our debt service, 0.05090. The debt service, 0.05090, for a total of 1.8102. So the budget for first reading we are presented is not reflected in, some highlights of the budget, on the landfill, that you should have saw, it didn't have last year. The rate for residential would be $10.50 per month. And on the, did you sit down and do with Ms. Linda after we did a couple changes to the sheriff's and the ambulance?
The ones they received had the changes in them.
Okay.
It was just on the revenue side, the point. On the property tax, when we changed it, we had to change the revenue, so the revenues went down.
Yeah. I'm talking about the couple of cuts. Have they received those yet?
Those were in the package that was.
Okay. Other than that, tonight we had, I believe, 7 presenters for health insurance. And we have not made a decision on that. That budget does reflect, $700 per employee per month. That will be brought to the commission as well in June. We just have 4:30 till the time we come in here, so we have not made a decision on property and casualty or health insurance for the employees. But that budget does reflect that. It reflects a 3% raise, for all county employees, and it reflects the appropriations changing to what I told you. So, other than that, any questions on the budget? If you went through it, address to myself, Mayor Pulse, Ms. Linda for the office, if you have any.
All right, one question, we messed with the rate, the cents, right? What's the percent there on the general and then on the school? Where you messed, you changed the cents there?
It is 0.8734.
What kind of,
general.
what kind of percent is it to the general there? You see 49.63%?
48.2488.
Okay.
And then the school percentage is 48.9393. Debt service percentage is 2.8118 for 100%.
Okay.
I got one more question.
Yes.
Are we not getting a hard copy of this?
Yes.
No, they were sent out in the packets in the emails. The ones who do not get the emails get the hard copy.
I like it.
Did you get yours on email?
Yeah, I got it.
But you on the hard? Yeah, we'll get you on.
Or make comments on that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We always have.
We'll get. And two, we'll have some changes too, committee meets on these other 2 big issues.
That has not been said.
So can we come up with an office and get one tomorrow or?
Yes.
Okay.
And we should have had that, Commissioner Wright, but we had some, last minute changes, and it would have been late anyway, so. But we will definitely we need to get everybody one before, second reading and
When it comes out to second reading, it'll be in the fancy book.
yeah, if we could get that to them early, that way, if you got any questions, feel free to give me a call, or Ms. Linda in the mayor's office. We've been through enough, I think, if I can't answer it, I'll get you an answer. If you got some specific line item questions.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
A little history. On the landfill, 2005, when, property owners was first brought to attention of the, landfill, paying, I think it was, we first started out with $8, and then we, had an increase of $10. I thought that when we first did this landfill in 2005, it was just gonna be a short period of time for, property owners. It wasn't gonna be a continuation of, for Hardeman County. It started in 2005, like I said, we started out with $8. Then just, I'm just asking a question.
I thought it started at $6.
No, it was $8. It was $8. Because it started out with the land, like I said, $8, and then a certain portion of it went to the, school system in 2005, where we, had a certain percentage with the, property taxes. So, I mean, I'm just asking a question, is this gonna be a continuation of landfill increases? Cause now we at $10.50. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
How long has that been, when that was added back on, what year is it?
2005.
Or, well, when it was added on the tax records?
Right.
2005? Okay. So, and, is that all right? I remember it added on the tax. No, it was added on the tax bill.
It was added in with our, property taxes. And, I'm just asking now, is there gonna be a continuation of those with, property owners, included with the property tax?
Well, I don't, that would depend on the commissioner, and it was, I think it's been $9 since, what year, 2013? 2013, it was still at $9. No increase since 2013, so it went
Used to
into
be on the
$1.
electric bill.
Huh?
It used to be on the electric bill. You paid it when you paid the electric bill.
Right, and then, we went to included in our property taxes, on our property. So, I mean, I'm just asking, is it gonna be a continuation, because certain parties.
Continuation of an increase.
No, just continuation of the landfill that we're gonna have to pay, because I think it has something to do with the school board getting their percentage.
No, nothing on the land.
We are taxed, yeah. Right, in 2005. Yeah, okay.
No.
That's how we change the question. We gonna
Almost all that goes to highway.
go to the highway.
Yeah, that goes to the road department.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And then, now there was an extra increase on sales tax at one time, wasn't it, 0.5%? But many of the municipalities didn't pay it, the county picked up, from what I understand, from what I've been told by the older commissioners, that when a city didn't pay it, instead of hurting the schools, the county paid it.
You right.
So is that right? Is that how that?
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Hill, that was, it was a wheel.
It was wheel tax.
Yeah.
Yeah, 40, yeah.
I said, we just a little history, and I'm just having a little.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Commissioner O'Leary, did you have, we need
That's, I got a question. Do we need to talk about this tonight, first read? Any questions on this budget, or you want us to look over it, or come back?
This is just first reading. If you looked over the budget, it's not finalized, still have to have a public hearing, set a tax rate, anything can be changed. If you have any questions, this is just first reading.
Okay.
Unless anybody objects, I think we should take highway, landfill, and general together for first reading.
Go ahead and approve, is there a motion to approve on the first reading?
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made and properly second. Any discussion on the motion? All right, seeing none, we'll move into roll call. Madam Clerk.
Dale,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Kennamore,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Woodard,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Same, Vickers,
Yes.
Wing,
Yes.
Wright.
All right, motion passes. Thank you, Commissioner Mayor, for your hard work and what you do, sir. Thank you very much. And then, just a couple more things I've got. Sheriff, did you have anything, we didn't mean to overlook you for anything, for your letter grant or for the sheriff's report?
I got, yeah, the clear grant, May to date, we picked up 7,720 pounds of garbage. Year to date, we picked up 120,680 pounds of garbage.
120,000 here today, 120,000 pounds of trash that the litter crew has picked up in this county. Thank you, sir. And then Commissioner, we talked about that the other day. I meant to put that in for a public hearing tonight for your board for that amendment. And I apologize, we didn't get that in, sir. That's on you. We need to get that, how we're going to present that, because we go under that state. It's 1,000 feet, 2,000 feet right now. So we'll go by the fence, and then that we'll put it in paper. We need to have a public hearing on that. We've got a public hearing for the budget, and then we have a public hearing next month as well on the zoning, the rezoning for the particular property out by the airport. So, and tax appropriation, that's right. Yeah. All right, let's move real quick into a lawsuit update, if you would, please. Mr. Conklin.
Good evening. We got the motion for attorney's fees from Mr. Sessions, and I did look at the amount before I left. I meant to, I think it's around $4 million, but we have until July 31st to respond to that. And there are only 3 plaintiffs, the ones that started with the county. They still have to come in and sign some documents to wrap all that up. We still have the local case, which just got started. Mr. Wooden and McCord, they dropped out of that case. So there's only one plaintiff left in that. And that's pretty much it. There's a case that I found out about today, Jones versus Hardeman County, but that's one that the insurance company is taking care of, so it's nothing for y'all to worry about. And I asked the lawyer for that. I sent him an email today, the lawyer that represents y'all through the insurance. An update on any cases he had. I haven't heard back from him yet, and I'll have that for you next month for sure.
Any questions?
We're going to, go ahead.
Is the judge gonna be looking at these lawyer fees?
Yes.
Okay, so are y'all like going over them and gonna present something to them? Okay.
Yes.
So do y'all have an idea of what y'all's number is compared to his?
I don't right now, but,
And when do y'all have
this,
this?
and get some more information, and,
So when do y'all have to make this presentation to the judge?
our deadline is July 31st. That's the deadline, so we'll work on it in the meantime.
All right, Bill, did you have Mr. Brown? All right, next commission meeting, we will have the final reading, and we will have a public hearing. It's going to be June the 17th, at 7 o'clock, and if there's no other business.
I'm going to say,
Commissioner has a vote.
I just want to thank, Chase that works in the maintenance department of the sheriff's office for the renovation of the courtroom and the new lighting fixtures. So let's give the sheriff department a clap.
Yes. Yes, sir. Thank you, Sheriff, for letting the trustees come and help. We had some damage, and then fixed the damage on the inside as well, so. All right, no other business? Motion to adjourn. Second. All right.